Oh, just so you know. Okay.
Okay, we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cell Talk TV, where I'm Brenda Pearce, the empowered nurse, and also a PEMF proponent. I really believe in the power of PEMF therapy in today's world, and I am privileged to have Allie Ochs from Swiss Bionics Solutions. She is a friend. She is a mentor. She is an expert on the effects and ravages of EMFs and the PEMF solutions. So I'm so thrilled that we're all here together tonight. And for those that are watching live, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here with us tonight. I want you to know that if you are wanting to watch this, there will be a recorded replay, and that will be posted on YouTube. And you can always watch it on PEMF Consultant on the Facebook group, because that's where I love to hang out. Allie's oftentimes there with us on the EMF Consultant page. And we're ready to rock and roll. Allie, thank you for being with us tonight. It's always a privilege and a pleasure.
Oh, thank you for being on this crusade with us. It's priceless.
Absolutely. It is. It is truly priceless, because you can't put a price on our health. And our health has really been hijacked, hasn't it, Allie?
Absolutely. And when we talk about cell hijacking or health hijacking, our health is being hijacked on the cell level. And a lot of people don't understand that concept because, first of all, and you know this, Brenda, in North America, we are so entrenched in our diseases and in the symptoms that arise from our diseases and how we treat the symptoms of our diseases, that the majority of the people forget the cause. What do I mean by that? Where does my disease come from? Right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't ask that question. And even if they do, they ask it in a very limited fashion. And that gets us right to the point, I think, of what we want to talk about in part today, is as soon as we hear that somebody has a particular disease, we begin, and this is true for a lot of people, we begin to think, what did this person do to get this disease, or what did they not do? Right? So we blame the victim, because you always hear also that we are responsible for our own health. So as soon as we're sick, we become flabbergasted. What didn't I do? We even blame ourselves. I should have done more of this and less of that. And, on top of a disease we experience guilt. We experience blame. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've even experienced where people turn around and say, well, and no wonder she has that. Look, she's overweight, or she's this, or he's that, right? Yeah. And it is so sad, because we totally fail to see the whole point of wireless and other forms of radiation in our environment that is hijacking our health on the cell level by impairing our cell function. And the mechanism through which this happens, a lot of people don't understand either. Yeah. Right? It can't be so bad because it's everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. And I have learned over the last 13 years that I've been involved, and you know this too, yes, I'm an expert, sheerly, by being part of this for 13 years, every day, I'm probably one of the very few full-time PMF, EMF people that you know. Mm-hmm. I live and breathe it every wakening minute. Also by running a company, also by dealing with representatives, also by dealing with people who are looking for solutions for their illness, for their disease. right?
Well, this is it. You hear the stories, Allie. You're the boots in the field, and you hear the stories. You hear the incredulous stories of people's horrible health situations, and as such, PEMF is really actually, it's been around. NASA had developed it. There's a lot of scientific studies behind this. It is the antidote to the EMF situation today. And I just have to share, as a nurse, a registered nurse with 35 years of experience, never once until I met you and really had to look at the situation from the reality that it truly is. Never once have I ever heard anybody talk about your 70 trillion cells.
Right.
And dysfunction that happens, and what happens when your cells are not in harmony and sync with each other. And what happens when we are losing our grounding with the earth and with the Schumann resonance that is all around us, and what is happening because of our disruptions that are happening. It's bombarding us like a hammer every minute of every day. Like in the medical world, you hear about cancer cells, you hear about platelets and neurons and neurons and all this stuff. But you never hear of it all together and how it all does work together in such, medical science tends to separate everything and look at everything at a very, macro level, but not the micro level at the cell level. And this is what I really want to impart to our audience tonight, is the fact that our cells, when they are vibrating at the resonance of regeneration and natural health and vibrancy, your health situations, whether it be your mitochondrial dysfunction, your MS, your, on and on and on.
And you know what, Brenda, the one of the very important things that very few people talk about, or at least, a lot of people don't have access to this information, is the mechanism through which the technology that we use every day that is outside of the frequency range of our cells, what is the mechanism? How does it impair cell function? And it's actually very simple. And I like to put it in simple layman terms. Okay, we have 75 trillion cells, whether you know it or not, they're there. And your health and your bodily function depends on how well these cells function and how well they communicate with one another. So now we are surrounded by wireless and other forms of radiation, and it has an impact of every single one of our cells, simply because our cells have what's called a nucleus. And inside the nucleus is our genetic DNA. Every single cell also has mitochondria. And that mitochondria contains our environmental DNA. What does that mean? That means what you eat, what you drink, what pesticides you are, what air pollution you are involved with or surrounded by, but also all the wireless and all the other forms of radiation, be it a microwave, be it the car you drive in, living near a cell phone tower. So all this is environmental, and it affects our mitochondrial function, namely the environmental DNA. And we do have control over that, right? So we are not necessarily a victim of our genetic makeup, because we do have control. But here is the problem in today's society and environment. We all talk how we should protect ourselves from wireless. What we should do, we should put a little sticker on the phone. We should put some tinfoil on our window. And this is all great, right? Unfortunately, not all of the methods that are offered out there have unbiased scientific research behind knowing that they even work. So it could be a very false protection. Mm-hmm. And people don't know how to protect themselves, let alone how to escape it. What do you do if your family on average income, you barely get by to pay your mortgage? What are you going to do? Move to the boonies? Yeah. You can't, right? Pack up and go to the Amazon or something? You can't, because you've got a responsibility towards your family. You've got a mortgage. And this is the economic system we live in that still values progress and profit over humanity, right?
Well, the other piece to this too, right, Allie? So a person gets sick and they have to, lose sick time. They have to go on disability. They have to go on governmental benefits and live at a level that is below poverty, basically.
Yes.
And so the devastation is then that our illness really robs us of our livelihood, our enjoyment of life, our ability to earn, and to function at our highest ability. So the thing is, though, the very technology that we need to survive in this world is really hurting us, isn't it? And really limiting us. In this time and day and age when there's so much technology, there's so much medical advancement, why are people so much more sick?
And getting sicker by the minute. Why is that, right?
Yeah.
When there could be a simple solution, and there is, restoring your cell function on a daily basis, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. To counteract the effects of wireless and other forms of radiation in our environment, because that depletes our cell charge, the energy of our cell. And when we lie on a PEMF system twice a day for 8 minutes, we restore our cell charge. Our cells begin to communicate. They can absorb nutrients. They can eliminate toxins. They can send messages to each other, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, North America is the average, and I always say this, the average North American spends $300 on supplements every month in the hope. And don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-supplements, right? Supplement if you must, as long as you know you have a deficiency. But when your cells don't work at their optimum level, they cannot absorb the nutrients, right?
Yeah.
And impaired cell function leads to disease. And that's a no-brainer. I mean, that has always been like that, right?
Well, the other piece to it too is if your cells aren't functioning, whatever you do is just going to be a Band-Aid, but it's not going to stick. It's just not. It's just eliminated right out of your system.
Yeah.
So, we have to really look at the root cause, right? And cell function is all function. Cell health is all health.
All health. Yeah.
All health. Period.
All disease begins on the cell level. All health begins on the cell level. Mm-hmm. And that's actually how medicine started, right?
Yeah.
And now it has become a symptom-oriented business, right? And we people, as lay people, we haven't learned a lot about our own health on the cell level. We just read about our symptoms on Google and, what the possible treatment for it is and what we can do, but we don't learn anything about cell health.
That's right. It really is. Like I said before, I said, in all my years of nursing, I've never had a doctor actually look at your general health from a cell level.
No.
And, I just want to encourage anybody. We have some people from the Caribbean here visiting us tonight, watching the show. And we have members of the PEMF team are here. If anybody has any questions or any comments on what we're talking tonight, please feel free to write into the chat box. I see it right here on the screen. I thank each and every one of you for participating and for your interest in really getting to the nitty-gritty. This has got to be one of the most hottest topics out there tonight.
Oh my God, it is.
there are so many people out there who are struggling in this world and wondering why they can't get ahead. First of all, financially. Secondly, why is it that they don't feel good in their own body and their skin? And you have to really worry about our next generation, our children, our grandchildren, and even our great-grandchildren who aren't even thoughts in the universe yet. Because the thing is, though, every successive generation is experiencing this cell mutation. It is warping the DNA, the very DNA and the RNA in the mitochondria of the cells, and is creating a weakness, an increased weakness intergenerationally as we move forward. So some of these new diagnoses, and nowadays we see more autism, we see more neurological disorders, we're seeing more nutritional disorders.
And everybody will blame it on something else. The anti-vaccine people will blame autism on vaccines. And I don't know, right? I have no idea what causes autism. I have no idea what causes fibromyalgia. I have no idea what causes back pain. I have no idea what causes all these diseases that people have, from infertility to not being able to sleep, to being depressed, right, to being anxious, to having pain all over, to have migraine headaches, to being listless. I have no idea, Brenda, what causes all that. But after 13 years, with over 1.5 million people on our PEMF system, I can tell you what they have experienced and how they have overcome all these diseases, and how they would never want to part with their PEMF system because it has helped them so much to improve their health. And the amazing thing with PEMF is, and a lot of people either don't know or forget that, because it matches the frequency of all your 75 trillion cells. And while you lie on this whole body mat, the magnetic field, electromagnetic field in the low frequency range goes right through your body and touches every single one of your 75 trillion cells. And I always find it absolutely amazing when somebody says, oh, I need to find, I have back pain, but I've tried everything. How many times have we heard this? I have tried everything. Not only in the conventional system, but also in the complementary, like massage therapy, chiropractor, you name it, right? Rehab. I've tried everything, but I can only manage it at times, but it hasn't helped me overcome. And most importantly, people have an impaired quality of life. And then they are so focused on their back pain. And then I say, you know what? Oh, they say, oh, your system is so expensive, right? I said, well, wait a minute. We're not just talking about your back pain. What if you could reduce or even eliminate your back pain? And let's look at other things in your life that have arisen out of your back pain that you've suffered for so long, right? Like poor sleep, anxiety, depression, no quality of life, not being able to work out, not being able to go on a walk, right? Like not being able to play with your grandkids, not enjoying a vacation. So if we could take care of all that, would you be interested? Yes.
Absolutely, right?
Absolutely, right? And we also find that with the topic, we want to focus on tonight, because a lot of the diseases we're talking about actually have their origin in our exposure to wireless and other forms of radiation. And a lot of people, including the medical community, have not made that connection yet, right?
No.
The individual people have groups who advocate against the rollout of 5G. They know what they're talking about, but the average person is left in the dark right? Because we're entrenched in it. We can't even escape it. We don't even know how to run our business without it. So the average person doesn't make that connection to disease yet. Right?
So many of us are thinking that disease is a normal part of the aging process, that cognitive decline and dementia is a normal part of the aging process.
Yes, we think that.
It absolutely is not.
And young children getting cancer at an accelerated rate is not normal part of evolution.
No.
Right? It is not. Right? There are so many young children getting cancer. Heart diseases, for instance. Heart diseases are on the rise, and you know that.
Yes, you go ahead, Allie, because, I think one of the big things is, that they're starting to see cancer in the hearts of rats. Why? And this is something, if it's happening in the smaller rodents and it's going to be happening, we're going to actually start hearing about heart cancer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And all the heart, stroke, heart diseases, right? High blood pressure.
Sticky blood,
irregular heartbeat, sticky blood. They are finding that a lot of young people. I mean, my dad died, right, and I was in Florida, and he was at the Mayo Clinic, and these people there are amazing. They even take the time to talk to you. And I was talking to one of the cardiologists, and we were talking about exactly that topic. How come that there's so many young people in their 40s, late 30s, early 40s that eat well, that exercise, that sleep, that don't drink, that don't smoke, and they have high blood pressure, they have strokes, they have heart attacks? Absolutely no reason. No history of heart issues in the family either. So why is it? So I was raising the topic of wireless, trying for him to make the connection, that when we are exposed to frequencies that are pounding our cells and impair our cell function, then the body cannot restore, regenerate, and rejuvenate as it normally would, and as it should, and as it is designed to. This is no longer happening now because of cell impairment to our exposure to wireless, right? Yeah. And I tell you something, we have a lot of, we're getting more and more younger customers, and we are also getting younger parents who insist their children use our PEMF systems, right? Yeah. And I think it's phenomenal. I just wish there'd be more people actually understanding that they can restore their cell function and rejuvenate and regenerate their cells every single day. And they feel it. It's not just, it's like brushing your teeth. You feel it. They feel nice and clean, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So one of the comments that's come in is people will subject themselves to surgery. It's so interesting how people will do that rather than trying other ways to alleviate their pains in their entire body. They'll pay out co-pays and deductibles and pain meds instead of investigating and investing in a PEMF system.
That's right.
When you go back to the cost of all this, the cost of disease and illness costs billions and billions and billions of dollars on our healthcare system.
I know, Brenda. I know.
And if we just invest a little bit in our own well-being and at the cell level, in our own homes, we could really bring up billions of dollars in healthcare dollars for economics and so much better systems that we have. It's a crime against humanity, isn't it?
Totally. But here's the thing, and I have experienced this for 13 years as well. We have a healthcare system, which is actually not a healthcare system. It's a sickness care system because it addresses symptoms. Yeah. And the average person believes that this healthcare system is free.
Yeah.
Okay, bypass surgery is what, 150,000, right?
Yeah.
One surgery. In Canada, the average person, and this is not their fault, they don't care what is being paid out to our healthcare dollars because they don't understand their own health yet. They don't understand yet that if they invest $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 in a PEMF system, that is the cheapest investment they will make in the long run, in the health of themselves and their entire family members, right?
Yeah.
But the way people have been taught to think here in North America is when I go to the hospital or when I go to the doctor, it is free. They don't think because I pay taxes, so I should have access to this. And they should.
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is that their taxes will go up as a result of a healthcare system that if things continue the way they're going, it is no longer sustainable. And we have been warned for years about that. So there will be cuts. It's the same. I live in a condo building. I'm on the board of directors. Okay. Our condo owners, and there are 145 condos in here that we supervise and, make decisions and run and operate. It's a very interesting experience. But it's the same thing. Water is included in the condo fee. So let's not worry about how much of it we're going to use, right?
Yeah.
But let's bitch when the condo fees go up because our water bill has gone up. You see, it's the same thing. Yeah. People complain when the taxes go up, right? But they don't look at, all they look at is, well, these damn politicians, they're going to pay themselves more, right?
No.
Well, that may be true too, right? I'm not disputing that. But the healthcare system actually isn't free in Canada. Wait until you're sick in Canada. It is not free.
No.
Right?
All you have to do is know somebody who's gone to chemotherapy and the tens of thousands of dollars in drugs that they have to purchase in order to go for those free sessions, right?
Right.
And the other thing too is, we have this system of it's always somebody else's fault, right? Yeah. So the cost of everything goes up because it's somebody else's fault. But when we take it home and we're the person that lives with ourselves, and we have to take responsibility.
Yeah.
This is the key. With our aging population in particular, too, Allie. They've known for decades that there is this baby boomer group that are going to be needing long-term care, that are going to need extensive services, and they're only now just saying, oh, well, we're gonna create 15,000 new long-term care beds in Ontario, and this is like only one part of Canada.
Over the course of how long?
Yeah, like over the next 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Do that. But where is the healthcare professionals? They have not got us trained. They have not got enough boots in the field. They do not have enough services in place.
No.
All of a sudden, it's like, oops, we need this. But what's going to happen is because it wasn't prepared properly, it's not going to be truly there. It's going to be, top-heavy situation is going to tumble.
Yeah.
And who are the people that are going to tumble? Are the people that need these services the most.
That have worked all their lives, have contributed to society, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I say to those people, you are worth owning a PEMF system because, whatever else happens in your life, your best line of defense at this point in time is optimum cell function. And that is a fact. That is a scientifically proven fact that when your cells work at the optimum level, the body is much less likely to submit to any disease. Your body is much less likely to fall apart. Your body, the opposite. Your body can regenerate. It can repair. You're stronger. You sleep better. You have more energy. Your cells have a higher cell charge, and they can do their job. And in simple terms, what is the job of a cell? To replicate turn over into a healthy cell.
That's right.
And if that process doesn't happen, then you're left with dying cells and potentially mutating cells. That's right. Why we at Swiss Bionics, whether we knew it or not, for the last 13 years since we're in North America, we've been much longer in Europe, but since we're in North America, we've been going after your cells. Right? Relentlessly. Right?
Well, and the thing is, Allie,
it could be Sally.
Sally. Anyway, Allie, the big thing is, though, when you brought this to North America, to Canada, you were hurting. You were falling apart.
Yes.
And I'd love for people just to hear a little bit of your story, because now, when we look at you, we see this vibrant woman who's an executive of a company. But the thing is, it's not like you were
I'm the housekeeper of the company.
And this whole business grew on a napkin, and you and Wolfgang meeting and all this sort of thing. But the thing is, though, I'd love people to hear about where you were at.
Okay, so a little over 13 years ago, I was working as a personal support worker, looking after older people, which is hard work. And it doesn't pay well, right? So, and then I started to become sick. And it started with severe back pain. And I also had female issues. I had like fibroids and all this kind of stuff. And I was supposed to have a hysterectomy. I had 2 shoulder injuries for which I was supposed to have surgery. And then because of all the pain, I had shoulder pain, I had back pain, I had female issues, I had irritable bowel, I couldn't sleep, I had no energy, I didn't do life. And what happens when you suffer from chronic pain, when pain becomes chronic, you become depressed. Right? And nobody wanted to have anything to do with me because I was no fun. I was just like a drag to be around. And so then my girlfriend that I went to school with in Germany introduced me to PEMF because she had some similar health issues. And she said, I know it's not available in Canada, but you got to have one. And the rest is history. I bought one. I was nervous because from the money I made, I think I was making $12.50 an hour or 25 cents.
Yeah.
And they were even then $4,000 or $5,000, to spend that kind of money. Yeah. I was very nervous, but it helped me with everything. And then everybody saw the changes in me and they came over to my house and they were lying on the dining room table and everybody wanted the 8 minutes of fame on the mat. And they felt better and they slept better and then they wanted to buy one. And it's like, whoops, Wolfgang, what do I got to do now? And he didn't even want to do business in North America.
Wow.
Right. So and the rest is history, right? We've been here for 13 years. We got worldwide more than 1.5 million people now on our mats. And it is growing. And now we came out with a new Omnium 2.0. I have it here if anybody wants to have a look at it. Yep. I'm not sure what does it say, 507. I got the wrong time.
So the thing is, the Omnium One uses Android technology. So we're using the best of modern technology, but we have to charge into the internet to upgrade the programming. We plug into the wall to charge the Android device, which is the control or the brains of this whole system. But what is really unique is that you disconnect the internet, you unplug it, and then you have a totally mobile PEMF device. You plug the applications that you want to use. You program it on this beautiful little screen here, very easy. You can dial up the time. You can dial up the frequency or the intensity of it. There are some pre-programmed.
Or use the 5 pre-programs for the whole body map. Yep.
And you can take this anywhere. This is the beauty of this, is the fact that you can take this great big beautiful 6-foot mat that you can lay on twice a day to do
fold it in a compact version, put it in little carry-on. You can take it anywhere.
Exactly.
So
and then you can go on a plane. You can take the smaller applicator pads and pillows and the OmniBrain for relieving neuroplasticity, which is really important too, because with that brain fog and, we were talking about Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that. If you are using light and sound technology, you can reverse that neuroplasticity, which is the root cause of all these degenerative diseases that we see at not normal aging. So we have our hands on some of the most advanced technology here with Swiss Bionics, with the Omnium One system. It's a great portable personal device which you can take with you anywhere, as we discussed, even on a boat, even in the plane.
In the car. I love using it in the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for road trips. I mean, what a better way than to be able to have this technology to go with you wherever you go. But what's really, really unique about this is the fact that we have this readily available. And, those of you that are here tonight watching the show and if you have any further questions or anything, please feel free to type in your comments, your response, your experiences with the Omnium One. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we have heard from a lot of people that already have it, and they love the new one because it's so easy to use. It's much more stable, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's the latest Android version, and it doesn't have lithium batteries anymore. It has cell-type batteries that you can easily change yourself.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. And there's no more problem with, the lithium battery. They were always, shipping was a problem because there are some of them, not with our tablets, but, the batteries on the Samsung phones and all that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So, so this is like one-of-a-kind technology. Nobody has it out there. It's NASA technology. It's based on the biggest NASA study. It has low frequency based pulsed electromagnetic fields that match human cell frequencies, creating the principle of resonance. I think that's also important to know because there are a whole bunch of systems out there that actually have higher frequencies or higher intensities that I'm not in favor of. Because we do know what higher frequency in the long run do to the human body, right? We do know that. Mm-hmm. So I would not recommend a high frequency PEMF system for daily use to improve cell function, optimize cell function, and restore your cell function. I would do that with a low frequency based resonance system because there are absolutely no side effects in long-term use because it's like the frequency of the magnetic field of the earth, which is also being tampered with because we no longer have this access to the magnetic field of the earth, which is the elemental force of life. Like we need the magnetic field of the earth to survive. and we don't have it. And then we wonder why we feel like yuck and why we get sick and everything. Mm-hmm. And then somebody says, oh, well, you should take a walk in the park every day. Yeah, that's good for your exercise. But city parks and what have you are also full of Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is everywhere.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too, Allie, and some of the comments are, we are so fortunate to have this technology, and somebody else says, myself and my dog love the mat, and you know, this is another key point. But the point I want to make before we move on to the other applications that really benefit from this, like know, animals and all this sort of thing, is that we really, when we wear these manufactured rubber soles on our shoes, it actually breaks the connection of our cells with the grounding of the earth, and so that insulation of rubber and polystyrene.
Concrete, walking with concrete with rubber, double whammy.
Yeah. You know, so there's a lot to this, that we really have become insulated apart from the natural frequencies of our God-given connection to. You can't mess with God's perfection and expect things to be better. You know, like
we try, but
we're falling apart because of it. Yeah,
that's right. We are, right?
So one of the things is, and like they were saying with the there, I was talking to somebody the other day who said he, and this was on one of my other podcasts and events that I do. He's craving to move out of New York City. Why? Because he just feels so out of his body there. And we talked about the grounding, how there's so much that's interfering with the connection with the earth there. First of all, find a patch of grass, first of all. And secondly, with all the Wi-Fi that's going on and these multi-millions of people that are in this concentrated hub.
Yeah.
You know, his situation with just as like he feels like he's going out of his body with craziness because he just feels so unwell. So it's really important for us to look for the solutions of grounding, getting back into the natural resonance. And it's just like people, if you've ever gone into a clock store or jewelry store where they have these pendulum clocks, they're all in sync with each other. If you watch them, they're all going back and forth.
Like a tuning fork.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And ourselves, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is exactly what happens to ourselves when we lie on the whole body mat. And that might be interesting for people who are listening now to understand what actually happens when I lie on the whole body mat. You know, people just know it feels good. And, you know, if they go in the evening, they sleep better. If they go on in the morning, they have more energy. If they have fibromyalgia, their pain will be alleviated. So they feel all these physical differences. But what actually happens to your body when you lie on it? So you have to imagine this is your mat. There's your beautiful body lying on it. The electromagnetic field goes right through your body. It doesn't lift you up, but it goes right through your body. And the field extends 3 feet, 3D, meaning all the way around. And after that, it begins to weaken, right? Every magnetic field at one point begins to weaken, right? And so while you lie on there, what happens is it takes 8 minutes for all your cells to resonate. So that means like maybe 1 trillion will take 2 minutes to resonate. 20 trillion will take 5 minutes. So, but within 8 minutes, all your cells are being brought into resonance, and they fire at their highest potential for 6 hours, up to 6 hours after.
Wow.
And that explains why some people, actually most people, they say, I don't feel anything, because we're so used to feeling something as evidence that something is happening It's almost like saying, what do you mean, Allie? You want me to pay $5,000 to $6,000 for your, actually, these are not. The new Omnium is, what, $4,299 only.
Mm-hmm.
I say only for good reasons. But some people, they say, well, you want me to pay all that money and I lie on this mat for 8 minutes and I feel nothing? Right? Are you serious? Yes, I am serious, because honestly, some people feel something, but if you don't, I really don't care whether you feel something or not. What is important is what happens to your body when you get up, right? That is the change. When you get up and you find you have more energy, you have better blood circulation, you have better digestion, you're in a better mood, you sleep better, you detoxify much better, your blood pressure becomes balanced, right? You have all these wonderful things happening all at once when you get up, right? And this is what a low frequency pulsed electromagnetic field does and should do. And it does it every day. And it changes from north to south pole every 2 minutes. So your body will never get used to it. And because if your body gets used to it, you don't have the same effects, right? So it prevents habituation of the body, and you always get the same effect. You always get the same results, right?
Well, that's incredible. Well, here's one of the things too, right? Like, you know, people who say they don't feel it. Well, do you feel your individual cells multiplying and digesting and the crap and all this sort of thing? So,
no.
You know, that's,
you don't. And I think because you don't feel your cells, that's why we neglect them in a way, right?
Yeah.
Like people have even reported that their gums have improved, their skin, their hair, and that, you know, was a positive side effect that they didn't even expect, because let's say they bought a PEMF system because she has fibromyalgia, right? Or arthritis, right? And she's all thrilled that her pain is gone and she can do life again. And then she finds out, oh, I've got nice fingernails all of a sudden, and my hair's better, and my skin, and my gums. Even my dentist said, how come? And I say, well, I said to her, like, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this until you listen. It touches every single cell every time you go on it. It doesn't leave a cell behind except cancer cells, because frequencies are not known, right?
Right.
So.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Like, I mean, a lot of people put their pennies into the fountain of youth. So here's another, like we were talking about all these other peripheral side effects. But again, unless the foundation of your skin and your cells and the collagen in your face and the matrix of that holds it all into place is in a healthy situation, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're putting on.
Nope.
It really doesn't.
Nope. So, and if you feel good and you have good circulation, good oxygenation, and your skin can regenerate. Your skin regenerates every 3 to 4 weeks, right? I can actually see it when it does. Can you?
You know, you don't, right? Again, it's one of those invisible processes.
Yeah, I can, because my skin feels different in that time.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, you can see here on me, I've got dimples again. I never had dimples since I was like 8.
Oh, it looks so pretty.
You know, and not only is it, you know, you feel good, like you just like pinch me, you know, like look at that, you know, the trigger goes right back, right?
I know.
You know? And you know, and I'm not a spring chicken, so you know.
Neither am I. and I don't, you know, I think as I get older, yes, I like to look good, but the feeling good is more important than the looking good. I don't care if I've got a few wrinkles more here or there or a few pounds. I couldn't care less, right?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I find I've also learned in my life that I find that the people that are not so obsessed with their looks are actually much more relaxed and easier to be with because they're low maintenance, right?
Yeah,
They
exactly.
are.
But
Right?
go back to where you were. You were a PSW. You were a boots in the field healthcare worker. We were talking about this whole snowball of people, and I've been an RN working in long-term care and
but
hospital.
I didn't know. I know, but I didn't know what you knew as a nurse when I was a personal support worker. Because I was just like bathing these the people
But it's the physical breakdown. You're lifting, logging. I can tell you of 100 people right off the bat who I've worked with as PSWs, and they're all aching, they're all hurting, they're all falling apart, they're all.
How can you not?
Yeah, and this sort of thing. They give themselves totally into the care of the people that they're entrusted to. Yeah. And then they wonder, you hear nothing about, my physiotherapist, my massage therapist, I'm hurting. The pain pills they have to pop before and after work because they're hurting so much.
Right.
So this is the thing. If our healthcare system is not only for us as the consumer in our healthcare system, we really need to look at this from that as a consumer, but also if we're doing our healthcare providers, those that are the boots in the field, front end people, such a huge disservice by not bringing this information to them. First of all, unfortunately, every workplace where somebody is sitting in either physically demanding work, which is irregular, where they face the ravages of a twist and popping their back out of place, to those that are even sitting in front of their computers for hours and hours on end.
Nobody cares about them.
No. But
that's why we have to care ourselves, right? We have to care about ourselves as much as we can. And not everybody can go to a rejuvenating farm for $50,000 for 4 weeks. No.
But or even vacation, right? Even just off to go away to an island and sit in a beach chair for a week.
Let's do it. But but the majority of people can't, right?
Yeah. But what if you were to take that investment that you would have done for a week away and put it into something that you have for the rest of your life, for your family,
every day. Exactly.
Your pets, your people, your babies, your grandchildren, your bottle of wine, your water.
Everybody. Yes.
It's all benefits because it's all got a life force energy in it, and it all needs that charge. It all runs on cells.
Yeah, I think most people are able to have $4,200 or $300. Most people have that if they think about it and if they make it a priority. But you can only make it a priority if you understand it. And the real question is not whether you want to spend that money. The question is, would you like to take control of your health on the cell level? Are you interested? Are you interested in, instead of dealing with symptoms, are you interested in real science, unbiased science, not the salesy science? There's so much science out there, that is in support of making a sale for something. Mm-hmm. But it's not necessarily unbiased science, right?
This is it. And one of our viewers here right now is saying she's on vacation in paradise down in the Caribbean. And she's saying, even on this beautiful island where I'm on vacation, there are so many cell towers. At the pool of the cell tower, I did a video today showing how all the leaves on the vines growing up on it, and the leaves are dead and brown. Palm trees beside it are very green and lush, but are of course affected by these visible wireless waves, as well as the humans and animals. So this is the thing, people.
Diane, I know it's you, and I just want to remind everybody. Thank you, Diane. Please share all that. And I just want to remind everybody, And I don't say that because I have an ego. I'm just saying it. I've been talking about the plants dying around smart meters for years. Dr. Magda Havers, also a leader in coming forward and doing her own research on the devastating effects of wireless and other forms of radiation, not just on humans, but on every living organism. And I mean, I don't want to say how beautiful that Diane is observing that. There's nothing beautiful about it, but, you know, that she is aware enough to see that and pay attention. And she will share it with so many other people. And she has been, and she's been like an inspiration to me too, because she has shared this technology and helped so many people with her caring heart for a number of years, right? And of course, all these wonderful places where we say, oh, I'm just going to go to the beach and relax and I sleep. Guess what? Most of these places you can't sleep anymore because you are surrounded by Wi-Fi and cell phone towers and everything, because people, even on a holiday, do not want to miss their technology.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's really scary to think that this is, you know, so this is a very graphic representation of what's been going on.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is talk about for a minute, you know, the elevation of PEMF therapy. There are a lot of people who are influencers out there in the world who are using PEMF therapy, like Tony Robbins, right? You know,
he's got more than one. And he has hours, right? But people always think, you know, when we post about Tony Robbins, it's interesting, Brenda. The first question is, what kind of a system does he have? What PEMF does he use? As if Tony Robbins using a PEMF system is not going to make it work better for you, right?
Right.
This is what it does for Tony Robbins. And yes, he has our system. There are other prominent people out there that are using our system that we cannot use their names, right? We're not allowed to. With some of them, we're not, right?
Yeah.
And but it is interesting when a celebrity uses something, it's almost like it must be good because a celebrity has decided to buy one.
Yeah.
And a lot of the celebrities have the same health issues that we were talking about. Because
no different than you and I, right?
Right. I mean, Tony Robbins has been around Wi-Fi for probably longer than I have. You know, because he's in studios, he's doing recordings, he's doing tapes, he's writing books, he's computer, he's doing motivational tours, right? Like his whole life has been around wireless, right?
Yeah.
His career, a lot longer than ours, because there were times where you were working in a hospital and there was no Wi-Fi. There was times I was working with older people and they didn't have any Wi-Fi. They didn't even use computers or cell phones, right? That's how old I am, by the way.
But here's the thing, too, like even the U.S. White House Medical Center, they have a medical center, and they just purchased six of the Omnium One, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a reason, right? Because the research is there. Because the Swiss Bionics products are the most advanced out there. The low frequency, earth-based resonating resonance of our maps and set it apart from other systems for sure.
Oh, totally. And the easiest to use, the most affordable, the most portable. And that's actually the only kinds of system where you get your kids on because they think it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Because to them, it's technology that they can relate to, right?
Yeah.
So
I love the fact that animals will gravitate to this. They have no biases. They have none of this information. They do it totally because it feels good and they realize that it's good for them. Like we've got videos of dogs and cats, and I know my dog is just a magnet for it. I know my friend Dr. Sue, her little Snooky just snuggles right in there as soon as she's on that. So, you know, when an animal, if they felt that these frequencies were going to be harmful, they'd run the other way. They just
So let's all be like animals, because they have the intuition still in place, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not bombarded with information, you know, deciding what dog food they should eat or what PEMF system they should use. They naturally gravitate towards that which feels good to them. That's it, right? Yeah.
Well, so, you know, we've had this amazing conversation. We know that our health is hijacked. We know that the common denominator that we're all experiencing, irregardless of how it presents itself in us, is through the electromagnetic frequencies, which are enhanced and increasing all the time. We have the 5G networks that are now evolving, and there has been science, there has been an outcry. Many different people have been crying out about how this is really going to hurt us even more. You know, and if we haven't experienced the ravages of the EMFs, we have, but we may not be aware of it. But if you start to wonder why in this day and age that we're falling apart faster and more so than ever before, the 5G network with the terahertz frequencies that are coming out of it that are going to ensure that no one is going to be untouched by it, is really actually, and you said this well a while back, is a crime against humanity.
It is, because it puts progress and profit above human health. And anytime that happens, it is a crime on humanity, right? And, you know, like it's almost like the cigarette, except with a cigarette, you could choose to go away or move away from it, right? You had choices, and then they came up with non-smoking rooms. So, you know, you had choices. You did not have to be surrounded by smoke if you didn't want to.
That's right.
But now, with the 5G or any wireless and other forms of radiation in our environment, there's no non-smoking room for anybody. So anybody is affected. And children, you know, they don't even have a choice. They're not even educated about what's happening to them. Right? And then you go to the Toronto Sick Kids and you see all these children with brain tumors sitting there on their iPads or on their cell phones, and you think, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? And our economic system is such that profit and progress comes before humanity.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not going to get political about it. I think it just has to take its course. And unfortunately, there'll be a lot of dead people in the way or along the way until it has taken its course.
Exactly. But what I would like to talk about too, Allie, is you know, so we know about profits at the risk of humanity, but we want to talk about, just for a few minutes, about creating a sustainable income for humanity with the Omnium One and the Swiss Bionics opportunity.
It's a great income.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful income if you're committed to it, right? And if you're committed to do the work, and those who do, they have a great income. They have a rewarding career, right? And they are committed to the mission, and they share it with everybody that crosses their path. And that's the first thing they talk to people about, right?
Yeah.
And because this is the greatest service we can give to someone to get them on a PEMF system. There is no pill or lotion or potion at this time that can take its place, right?
Mm-hmm.
There isn't. You know, like a lot of people say, well, I'm afraid of selling something that's $4,000 or $5,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why be a prisoner of your fear, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel I have an obligation with what I know to share this with everybody that I come across and educate them to the point that they can make a decision. So I don't even feel like I'm selling it. And even if I can be bold at times. We all know that, right? No.
Boldness with mission. There you go. You know, this is the thing, is when you know what you know from your beginning, where you were trying this out on your dining room table and having the neighbors come over.
That's right.
The results to now where there are millions of people who are using this, and just, you know, you've become this leader. You had humble beginnings, Allie.
Very.
You know, to see where you have come from, and you basically lived in my backyard of Embro.
Yeah.
You know, and here you have this global business, and
there are a lot of people in Embro and Woodstock that still know me, and they know the real me, right? Well, I mean, you do too, right? But I'm just saying, they know me from the humble beginnings.
Yes, so before all this stuff happened, you know,
and I'm still humble, Brenda.
Yes, you are.
I'm just what I know, right?
Yeah.
And I, as much as I know about wireless and other forms of radiation, the other part of me also knows that I can talk about this until the cows come home. But I can do much more good in the meantime if I get you on a PEMF system.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I can run around and demonstrate against wireless. Of course I can. I have. Right? Probably more so than anybody else. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always, in the meantime, like, what do you do? Like, if you go and you fight against 5G, it takes a long time until people wake up. It's good work. I admire people who do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually it has to go away if the human race will be saved, right? But at the same time, it needs people like me in the meantime to get you on a PEMF system to counteract the effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can I take you to the Amazon or sell you a PEMF system? You wouldn't even go to the Amazon because your kids wouldn't come with you. There you go.
And you have to come home eventually, right? Like, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
We still have to live with ourselves after doing these amazing things.
That's right. We have to live with ourselves in the environment that we have created. And yes, we can change it, but there are limitations for the average person. I cannot move in the boonies.
No.
And if I could, would I? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right? I mean,
it's very expensive too, right? Because you'd want to build a geotech house, and you want to have, all the ways of being sustainable.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have the money to do that. $3,000-$4,000 is a small price to pay for peace of mind that you can go to anytime you're feeling achy, sore, tired, listless. And you can, and like I said before, you put your water on it, you actually energize your water, you alkalinize your water. Alkaline water is
healthy water.
Imperative to true perfusion of hydration into your cells. You know, and your food all has energy in it. We are human batteries. And if our charge is depleted, then we are not functioning, just pure and simple. We talked a lot about cell biology. Sticky blood does not perfuse well.
Nope.
That's why there are so many circulatory issues out there today. And if you have poor circulation, then you have inflammation at the joint.
Yes.
How many people do we know have osteoarthritis today?
Oh my God. Too many.
Too many.
Too many. And they don't know what to do.
No. We think it's a North American thing because we live in a colder climate. No, that's BS. Okay, people. It's circulation at the cell level. So, what Allie has been so gracious to spend her time with us tonight. I'm going to call her Sally from now on because cell health is what she's all about. Sally Ochs.
We're going after yourselves.
We are. And the thing is, though, as a registered nurse, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be spending this time. It is my profound and renewed mission to get more people understanding about cell health. Our health is I work in hospice, so I see people at the end of their life.
Oh, how do you do it?
I don't know. I don't know, but I really believe that we really deserve a better outcome, a better ending, a better existence, a better way of living, being, and financially supporting ourselves. I think that's one of the key things is that instead of being robbed at the cost of the pharmaceutical companies and their profit, why don't we become our own economy, create a sustainable income from our...
A lot of people do that by selling our systems and building organizations that they help them. And this is how it spreads. And they get financially rewarded because that's also, money is also a form of energy. There's nothing evil about money.
No.
Right?
No.
Like it's good to have, I can tell you, it's good to have a great income. It is good to have a financial stability. Right. And you know how I know that? Because I can do a lot more for people now than I could back then on $12.50 an hour.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
And it is our birthright to live happy, healthy lives.
Exactly.
Free of pain, free of debt, free of limitation. Because limitations are imposed on us by systems. The matrix that we live in.
Yeah.
Escape the matrix. Get on a mat. Make yourself feel better. Live better.
And share it with others.
Yeah.
And share it with others. And if you share it for the right reason, nobody can stop you. Even the most envious people could not stop you.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
We can be powerful. We deserve to take back our power while and don't let yourself become another statistic of a system that's broken.
Nope.
No. No. So, Allie, I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for taking.
Thank you for having me.
It's always fun. It's always
fun.
Yeah.
And thank you everybody for being here with us and sharing your evening with us. We'll do this periodically, right? Maybe the next time we're going to do something on pain, because a lot of people, experience pain. Like today, we did primarily wireless and other form of radiation and how we can counteract that with using a PEMF system. But a PEMF system is like a little miracle. Actually, it's like a big miracle. And it can do so much more. So maybe we can talk about how it actually scientifically counteracts pain. And instead of just managing the pain, it can actually get rid of it.
Absolutely. Pain management, in this polypharmaceutical world where there's so much addiction. And again, working in hospice, which is primarily pain management at end of life. It's really important how much better quality of life can be if we can get rid of the pain.
Yes.
And, and really free up ourselves to really live like live the life we deserve. So if anybody has any suggestions of other topics that they would like to cover, let us know. Allie, I'd love to book you for about 6 weeks from now, and let's see, we'll get our calendars out after this and we'll make it happen.
You send me the date in a private message, and I'm always there for you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love you guys. I thank you all for being with us. Let's move forward in 2019 and beyond to be our healthiest, happiest self and financially free. Let's do it. Let's get together. All right. Bye for now.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Bye.